I had noticed for a long time that my cold, distant, ice queen of a girlfriend was not quite right, but I kept pretending I saw nothing. During the day, she was a high and mighty goddess, bundled up, treating me like nothing but a dumb sugar daddy paying for her college. But at night, she would completely change, wearing a spaghetti-strapped tank top, her eyes red, clinging to me, and whining for attention. However, I was not jealous at all. Instead, I was excited by this buy one get one free twin game. What was it like to be dating twin sisters? My kept college sweetheart and her sister pretended to be the same person to date me, taking shifts. I said to that cute younger sister, "We have been together for 3 months now. Is it time to take things further?" She froze. I played dumb and said, "Did not you already agree to it during the day?" During the day, I said to that ice-cold older sister, "You are so well behaved at night. I prefer you at night." She lost her temper immediately. That night, for the first time, I felt that Miriam was not quite herself. She was normally so cold and aloof, but she took off her jacket, wearing a tight, white camisole underneath. The usual Miriam always kept herself completely covered up. Her lips were pressed into a thin line, clutching books with a look of resistance, always saying she had to rush back for study hall. I stroke her hair, speaking softly, "You need to leave soon or you will miss the dorm curfew. Let me drive you back to campus." But as soon as she heard that, she suddenly clung to me tightly, nervously pressing her face against my leg, whispering, "Edward, can I please stay here tonight, just for one night?" I was about to speak when a strange line of on-screen comments scrolled right in front of my eyes. They said, completely seriously, "The little sister pretending to be Miriam is so gross." Now it was my turn to look shocked. I studied the woman before me, gently lifting her chin to look at that clean, innocent, beautiful face. The girl had no idea how to hide her true feelings. Behind all the clingy affection and eager attentiveness, the awkwardness and aversion were impossible to miss. If we're going to play, then let us be fair about it. I smiled and said, "All right." I leaned in, and Chloe thought I was about to kiss her, so she flinched away out of instinct. But I only kissed her on the forehead. She looked confused, and I gently touched the corner of her eye with my thumb. "Silly, I'm not going to make you drink. Alcohol is bad for you." She turned bright red from her ears all the way down to her neck. She just stared at me, unable to believe it for a long moment. I said quietly, "Take a shower and sleep in the guest room." A battle of hearts like this has to be played out slowly. During the day, Miriam looked at me uncertainly, as if she had something on her mind. She struggled for a long time before finally saying, "About last night, I acted completely clueless." "What about last night?" I studied her, rubbing my chin. At the edge of her collar, I could faintly see a red mark, like a girl who had just experienced something intimate for the first time and had no idea how to hide it. I asked, "What is that?" Miriam frowned, pulling her collar even tighter, her lips a thin line. "It is nothing, just a mosquito bite." Comment scroll by El Mio, obviously. The male lead must have done that last night. That young couple finally has a chance to date. Old guy my ass. I am barely over 30, daddy at best. I raised my eyebrow, annoyed. Miriam said quietly, "You are getting jealous again. Can you not always be so paranoid?" I answered her distractedly, "Yeah, I'm even jealous of mosquitoes." At night, the sister pretending to be Miriam showed up again, and sure enough, she had drawn a fake hickey on her neck, looking red and irritated. I crooked my finger at her. "Come here, let me put some ointment on that." Chloe leaned into my arms, and I dipped my finger in the cream, gently applying it to her neck, then blowing softly on it. Chloe, who had been staring blankly at the floor, suddenly shivered, her ears flushing red once more. I said quietly, "Do not hurt yourself like this anymore." She panicked immediately, blurting out, "How did you know?" She stopped herself just in time, swallowing the words. "Okay, thank you, Edward." Well, Chloe pressed herself against me again, resting on my chest with a perfectly natural expression as she lied without missing a beat. "I just wanted Edward to pay more attention to me, to be with me more, so I hurt myself on purpose." I did not call her out. "Is that so? How do you want me to do that?" Chloe stammered, just a kiss." I lifted her chin. She thought I was just going to kiss her forehead again, but I kissed her right on the mouth. Chloe's eyes widened. I looked down at her and said softly, "Open your mouth. Remember to breathe." Her whole body was shaking, yet she instinctively held on to me like someone drowning, panicked, and helpless, clinging to me as her only hope, her tongue trembling. When I finally pulled back, she was still staring at me, her chest rising and falling rapidly. I acted confused. "It is not like this is our first time. Why are you so nervous?" Chloe finally snapped out of it. "Oh, I knew when to stop. This was enough teasing." I smiled, stood up, and left her alone to collect herself. The comments exploded. That was Chloe's first kiss. "Look at her. She is so repulsed that she is frozen stiff. It is truly difficult to go this far for her sister's happiness." But some other comments wondered, then why does her expression look more like she is reminiscing fondly? After that, Chloe and I started kissing all the time. She was passionate and loved to dress up with a body and face that were incredibly striking, exactly my type. So I bought her a lot of revealing detailing clothes and little accessories, like picking out the perfect paint job for my car. At first, during the day, Miriam still made an effort to wear the more conservative clothes I bought her, just to keep up appearances and hide the truth. But after a few days, she stopped pretending altogether. I asked offhandedly, "What about those couple rings I gave you yesterday? Why are you not wearing them?" Miriam, who had been reading, looked up sharply, stunned for a moment, and blurted out, "What ring?" She stopped herself mid-sentence, forcing down all the feelings inside her. She frowned, looking down. "I probably forgot to put it on." At night, Chloe wore the shiny couple ring on her finger, beaming as she threw herself into my arms, speaking sweetly. "Edward, I will always wear the ring you gave me. Please stay with me more, okay?" I smiled and said, "All right." While Chloe was in the shower, I glanced at the messages on her phone. The sister had sent a series of agitated texts. "Where's the ring?" Chloe answered, "What ring? I have not seen it." Miriam was quiet for a long time, finally texting back after several minutes. "Chloe, he is just a superficial and disgusting jerk." Chloe answered quickly, "I know that, sis. I'm just playing along, going with the flow. Do not worry. I have my own pace. You and my future brother-in-law need to be together already and live happily ever after." A long while later, Miriam sent another text, one Chloe had not seen yet. "You two haven't done anything, have you?" She added a long line of question marks. I looked at her phone and smiled, then typed back, "Sis, we have not done anything we are not supposed to do. As for what counts as something they should not do, given my understanding of Miriam's extreme pride, she would never be able to ask for a clear answer." Sure enough, Miriam kept it all inside and did not text back. I casually deleted those two messages. Chloe came out wrapped in a towel, still smelling of soap. I looked at her, knowing she did it on purpose, with a hint of some unspoken competition. I asked with a smile, "Do you want to sleep in my room tonight?" Chloe hesitated, her eyes a little red, and said softly, "Okay." Chloe sat on the edge of the bed like a wet kitten, completely lost, nervous, and scared. Comments flooded the screen in despair. "Chloe, you are usually so smart. Are you really going to sacrifice yourself like this?" Everyone calmed down. Miriam really hates the second lead. That is why she lied and said she was traditional in saving herself, and she would never do that before marriage. Since he knows that, he will not force her, right? I see. All that talk about being traditional was just an act. The truth is she is cheating behind my back, saying she is young and scared. That was all fake. Wanting my money was the real story. I smiled. This childish little game was actually pretty entertaining, but I was never going to force anything. What would be the point of that? The real fun is slowly making her want herself. Chloe took a deep breath, finally ready to speak. "Just so we are clear, I will not." I cut her off before she could finish. "I remember you told me you do not have much experience and that you are scared. Relax. Nothing is going to happen tonight." Chloe had been ready for me to push her mind full of prepared responses, but my words made all of them useless. All she could say was a disappointed, "Oh." I reached out and touched her head, speaking softly. "I just feel like you have been lonely lately, and I want to be here for you. I want you to be happier and stop having bad dreams. I also want you to wake up next to me. Miriam, I do not have any other motive. I just want to make you as happy as I can." I took her hand, looking serious. "I do not know what you have been going through to make you so vulnerable all of a sudden. You do not have to tell me, but if you are in trouble, you can talk to me. I want to help you." Chloe could not even look up, stammering as she spoke, guilt written all over her face. "I am sorry," I said. "Silly, you have not done anything wrong. What are you sorry for?" I smiled and kissed her. Chloe looked up at me, a storm of emotions whirling in her eyes. Her body was shaking, but she parted her lips without thinking, letting me take control little by little. The kiss was deeper and longer this time. I held her whole body against me. She had an incredible figure. Her skin was starting to get hot. Her voice shook. "Edward," she then whispered carefully, "you are too close." I laughed. "Do not be scared. I do not mean anything by it. I just want to hold you." The hug was tight and seemed to last forever, so long that Chloe felt like all the breath was being pressed out of her, leaving her gasping. At that age, feelings are so fresh and vulnerable. A few light, almost teasing moves were almost enough to completely break down her defenses. Finally, her eyes grew unfocused, her face flushed, and she started awkwardly leading me on. "Actually, what I said before does not necessarily." I sighed again and cut her off. "You are right. What you said before is important. I will respect your wishes completely." I let her go. I overstepped a little. "I am sorry. Get some sleep." Chloe was left speechless. About 10 minutes later, in the dark, Chloe was wide awake, her thoughts a tangled mess, and she finally whispered, "Edward, when did we say we were getting married?" "After you graduate," I answered, sounding surprised. "Did not you say later, at least 5 years?" 5 years. Chloe took a deep breath. Once she thought I was sound asleep, she whispered to herself, full of bitterness. 5 years, what was she thinking? During the day, Miriam did not look well. I asked her with a smile, "What is wrong? You were fine this morning. Why are you upset all of a sudden?" Miriam frowned and turned her head away. "Is it not enough that I am passionate at night? Do I have to walk around smiling like an idiot all day too?" I shrugged. Miriam, fidgeting with her fingers, finally noticed the food container I was holding. She paused. What is that? I acted confused. Is it not the lunch we made together this morning? You said you wanted to drag me to a concert tonight and did not want to eat street food, so you wanted to try my cooking. I twitched, but she could not help complaining. We have never cooked together before. You always said you were too busy with work. There was a hint of hurt and disbelief in her voice, a kind of hurt she did not even realize she was feeling. I smiled. What can I say? You're so needy and whiny now. How could I say no? Miriam's breathing quickened, but she could not respond. After a long silence, she suddenly said, I am not going tonight. I have exams soon. I need to study in my room. I acted puzzled. Did you not say you want to take me to the beach tonight? Miriam's face tensed, and she spoke quickly. We are not going. She pressed her lips together and added with a sour expression, I do not want to do anything tonight. I just want to study. I stared at her for a moment, and she suddenly realized how strange she sounded, like someone completely losing control of her emotions. Her mind felt like it was at war with itself, getting jealous for no reason. She looked down. I am sorry. I have not been sleeping well. I am not myself. I looked at her and smiled. Really? But last night when you fell asleep in my arms, you were so calm. You slept so well. Miriam finally broke. She looked up sharply, driven by a strange, stubborn pride. Edward, let's go to the beach now. Not tonight. The words were out before she could stop them, but she forced herself to continue. It is not as fun at night. I just smiled and said nothing. They were already starting to destroy themselves from within. The car stopped by the coastal highway. Miriam was frowning and typing on her phone the whole drive, clearly arguing with someone, her expression shifting from uncertain to annoyed with a faint trace of relief. I knew what was bothering her. On a whim, she had blown off the person she really cared about and ended up coming with me, this daddy, to the beach. But I also knew why she felt some relief. It was her here tonight, not Chloe. Her sister had not completely stolen everything from her yet, including her wallet. I saw the messages on her screen. Chloe wrote, Sis, what is that supposed to mean? Why can I not come over tonight? Miriam answered, Do not you think you are taking this too far? I just asked you to keep him busy. I did not tell you to actually fall for him. Chloe responded immediately, I am not. You are just imagining things, sis. Oh, and sis, if you are free, go meet my future brother-in-law. He just messaged me asking why you did not come to the library. Miriam stared at her phone, completely speechless. Chloe kept going, twisting the knife. I told him you went to the beach, sis. You are welcome. Then another text. Seriously, sis, why do you carry everything yourself? Did I not say I would help you? Do not just give me the night shift. Give me half the days too. Miriam's face dropped, and she slapped her phone down on the seat. Miriam and I were walking hand in hand along the shore when a young man came running toward us from a distance. The moment Miriam saw him, she instinctively pulled her hand away. I gave her a sideways glance and said with a half smile, Are we that embarrassing? Miriam was clearly nervous and answered defensively, No. The comments exploded. Oh my God, the second lead is definitely doing this on purpose, waiting for the male lead to show up and make Miriam say that. The male lead must be so sad. Here comes another misunderstanding. I looked at the comments. So that young man was the male lead they kept mentioning. I looked over. Joey was standing a few feet away, his fists clenched, his face a mask of humiliation, with no attempt to hide the emotion in his eyes. The intense devotion in his eyes would make anyone think I was the heartless villain breaking up a young couple. I spoke up. Who are you? Joey finally managed to control himself, speaking quietly and politely. Hello, sir. I'm a classmate of Miriam S. I need to talk to her. Could you excuse us for a moment? I scratched my head. I had to at least go through the motions of asking a few questions. If I kept ignoring how obvious he was being, I would look like a real fool. I asked, Are you sure you're just her classmate? I made sure to put a little suspicion in my voice. Joey looked at Miriam with a bitter expression, hesitating, clearly holding himself back. The comments went wild again. Why is he grilling the male lead like that? I agree. He is just picking on a nice guy. Fine. If this is already bullying, I might as well add some fuel to the fire. Miriam spoke first. He really is just my classmate. Why are you being so difficult? I shook my head. Miriam, you are mistaken. I just remember you told me the other night that school is exhausting and you feel lonely, like you do not have anyone to talk to. As if just remembering something, I smiled. But you were so cute that night. You complained forever, and in the end, you just felt like I was not kissing you enough and made me do it more. That last part was something I made up, of course. I knew Miriam would never correct me in front of him. The rift between her and Chloe had already formed. They were not comparing every little detail anymore, which meant I could lead their emotions around like two dogs on a leash. Joey also knew about the twins' scheme. He thought I was still clueless, and a smug smile tugged at his lips as he tried to share a knowing look with Miriam. The next moment, he froze completely. There was no triumphant relief on Miriam's face. Instead, she went pale, overwhelmed by the intimate images flooding her mind against her will. Miriam bit her lip and managed to say, Why is it different? I raised an eyebrow. What is different? The smile faded from Joey's face as well, and he looked at Miriam in confusion, completely lost. Miriam blurted out, You were never like this before. We were were always so boring and cold together. Why are you not like that with me? As soon as she said it, she realized she had messed up. I helped her cover it up. Miriam, what are you talking about? I have always been like this with you. Miriam opened her mouth, then stopped. The trap she had set had closed in on her. She was full of frustration, but could not say a word. I smiled and rubbed it in. As for the small difference between day and night, it is just that you are so much sweeter at night. I like you more then, so I'm nicer to you. Her face went white, and she froze completely. Joey quickly tried to change the subject to break the tension. Miriam, that is enough. Stop talking. Come with me. Joey frowned, terrified she would say too much and reveal everything. But the next moment, Miriam said, "No, you go back. I have something to say to my boyfriend." Joey's face fell. He stared at Miriam in disbelief, his jaw tight. He saw the way she was looking at me, muttered a curse, his whole body rigid with anger, and walked away. Miriam glared at me. "What do you mean you prefer me at night?" She pouted. "It is the same face." She clenched her fists, feeling something slipping through her fingers like sand. I said, "You at night are more passionate, more thoughtful, and you look prettier." I gave a wicked smile and added, "And you know more positions." Miriam stood there stunned, her face white as a sheet, overwhelmed by humiliation and anger, even starting to hate her past self. At night, Chloe came over as usual. She had no idea about the drama Miriam and I had just been through. She was still naively piecing together her own little bits of information, making up lies as she went. Chloe held my arm, speaking in a saccharine voice. "Baby, even though it has only been a little while, I already miss you." I pinched her cheek, letting her hang all over me in wine. I smiled. "You can come over whenever you want." I gently touched the tip of her nose and added, "Because it is you." Chloe held my arm, staring at me intensely, and suddenly said, "Is there anything we have not done yet? Let's go do it together." I kissed her on the eyelid. So sweet. She did not even notice the small smile forming on her lips or the way she leaned closer to me. Her body had gotten used to my touch, almost forming a habit, actively craving my hands on her. I sat up straight suddenly. Chloe froze, then realized what she was doing and quickly moved back, a faint blush creeping up her ears. It was time to start closing the net. I said gently, "We have been together for 3 months. Is it time to take things further?" Chloe looked confused. I raised an eyebrow and played dumb. "Did you not agree to it earlier?" Chloe stammered. "I AGR agree," I continued. "You forgot again? You said next week is your birthday and you wanted to go away with me, and then you want—" I deliberately left the sentence unfinished, letting the air grow thick with tension, leaving the implication hanging without spelling it out. I smiled and put my arm around her, kissing her while she was still confused. "Thank you, Miriam. I like you, Miriam." Chloe finally came back to her senses, looking at me blankly. "Say that again. Do not say a name. Just say it to me." I played along with her little game, looking at this young, beautiful gift of a girl. "I like you," I repeated with a smile. Chloe's eyes trembled, her expression complicated, like she was afraid of waking up from a beautiful dream that was not really hers. There was a fire of jealousy in that look. Anger and resentment flickered in her eyes. She suddenly grabbed my arm and said with a pitiful look, "So we have to wait until next week?" Chloe sat up and rubbed her face against my palm, whining. "Tonight, just tonight, okay?" I pretended to hesitate. "But earlier you said—" Chloe's eyes got red, like she was about to cry. She did not even let me finish, as if she had the baton and decided to run the last lap herself and take the trophy. That intense, brutal jealousy inside her made her desperate to grab this chance no matter what. Chloe's voice was soft as honey, pleading, "What if I change my mind? Please." I mulled it over, enjoying myself. It still felt like something was missing, so I added a little more fuel to the fire to make it more interesting. I put on a troubled face, but I already booked the hotel and plane tickets for next week. I stroked her face. "Miriam, do not worry about me. I am in no rush. If you want next week is fine," I added, trying to be thoughtful. "I know this is a big step for you. I do not want to push you." Chloe bit her lip hard, finally dropping all her pride. "Please, I'm really begging you." No matter what, she did not want me to get any closer to Miriam, and she was terrified that Miriam would take me away from her for good. "I want it. It is not that I am unwilling. I want to do this with you. I know you're not pressuring me. I am the one asking you." I hesitated, pretending to be conflicted for a few seconds, but she got impatient and kissed me like a nervous kitten, both eager and tender, kissing and pleading. "Really, I want to. You could do anything to me. Please," I sighed. "Well, okay." Chloe immediately beamed, throwing her arms around me. "That is wonderful, Edward. Just as I expected. Interesting." The night was long, and the little sister was certainly sweet. I looked at Chloe, her eyes red, her skin glistening with a thin layer of sweat, and kissed her with satisfaction. "You are so beautiful." Her voice was hoarse from what we had done, but she still asked, "Besides my face, what else do you like about me?" I did not answer right away, purposely pushing her to the edge. She wrapped her arms around my neck and held on tight. "Tell me, Edward." I finally spoke slowly. "I like the way you whine. I like your body. I like everything about you when we are together." I paused, scratching the top of her head. "And I like you when you're covered by the night." In this unspoken competition, Chloe was completely satisfied, believing she had won decisively. So when I leaned over her again, she responded eagerly with excited, happy little sounds. But the fun part of this game was over. It was time to show my hand. If I kept this act up, Miriam and Chloe might actually start believing I was just a dumb ATM. A few days passed, and the excitement wore off. Early that morning, Chloe, still half asleep, brushed her teeth quickly and then buried herself back in my arms, pressing against me and kissing me as usual. "Edward, one more kiss, I want more." Then I noticed her phone. "I think someone sent you a text," I said. "Let me get it for you." As I handed it to her, my finger slipped and turned on the screen. Chloe's face went stiff. I looked at the new message and then turned to her. "Miriam, why is there someone named Miriam texting you?" She opened her mouth, but before she could even make up a lie, I tore away her disguise. I acted shocked and furious. "You are not Miriam. Who the hell are you?" Chloe went pale, staring at me for a long time. She finally looked down and said in a rough voice, "I am Miriam's sister." "I am sorry." The comments exploded. "It is over. He knows. Do not panic." Maybe now the girl can finally break up with the second lead. Others were confused. But why does Chloe look so sorry? Is she not done leading him on? I stood up and Chloe instinctively grabbed my arm. "Do not go." I looked back at her coldly. "I know everything now. What else are you trying to get from me?" "Fine. I will not get in the way of your sister and her boyfriend anymore," Chloe said, her voice full of pain. "How did you know I finally had the chance to say exactly what I was thinking? I'm not a fucking idiot." Chloe was at a loss for words, scrambling out of bed in a panic and pulling on her clothes. "Edward, it is my sister who did this to you, not me. Break up with her. I want to be with you." I started to leave, but she ran after me and held me tight from behind, her voice shaking like she was about to cry. "Break up with her. You were so good to her, and she is still thinking about someone else. She has no shame." I gave her a cold smile. "And you? Are you not on it with her? Why else would you be here?" Chloe was speechless. She looked at me with red, teary eyes, her voice rough. "But I regret it. I have regretted it for a long time." She carefully took my arm. "Give me one more chance. I will make it up to you." When I did not respond, she quickly added, "Edward, let me pursue you this time. I will treat you 100 times better than my sister." She looked down, whispering, "Please do not abandon me." The phone in her hand kept lighting up with message after message on the lock screen. "Miriam, what are you two doing?" "Chloe, why are you not answering me? Are you crazy? Stay away from him. He is my boyfriend." Miriam was going crazy. Those few minutes without an answer must have felt like an eternity. She finally sent another text. "Come back right now. Plan is off. Do not do anything else. Do you hear me? Plan is off." I smiled, looked at Chloe, and slowly nodded. "Fine," I said. "I will break up with her." That same afternoon, I met with Miriam. When she realized I was still willing to see her, she was secretly relieved, but then she got nervous and defensive, testing the waters carefully. "The last few days, I have not—" "That is enough, Miriam," I said calmly. "I already know." Miriam froze, then slowly looked down, muttering, "I knew it. I knew she would do this to me." The anger and jealousy in her eyes were all aimed at Chloe, as if everything was her sister's fault. I looked at her coldly. "Do you have anything to say? If not, then do not bother seeing me." "Wait," Miriam called out, her breath quick. "Can you give me another chance?" She lowered her voice. "If I were like her, would you treat me the same way?" I did not answer, but she stubbornly took my silence as a yes. Miriam's shoulders shook as she slowly raised her head, giving a clumsy, stiff smile imitating her sister. But she was never comfortable with warmth, always keeping people at a distance, and her smile was worse than tears. A high and mighty flower suddenly bowing her head and giving you a shy smile, you had to admit that image was somewhat intriguing. I studied her with a little curiosity for a moment, then turned away. That was enough. I was done playing with these twins. One held tightly to her own superiority, using her pride to hide a greedy heart that wanted all. The other had no limits or morals, acting like she was protecting her sister while enabling the cheating, but really only because it had not cost her anything yet. She could play innocent and join in the fun, but the moment something she really wanted appeared, she took it without mercy, throwing away their sisterhood and her own dignity. They were both beautiful, but their hearts were equally dirty, like cold leftovers. One taste was enough. I sighed wearily. "Miriam, if you want to be forgiven, should not you first clean up your own mess and things properly?" I gave a cold laugh. "You do not actually believe your precious pride means anything, do you? That if you just lower your head, every door will open for you?" Miriam was speechless, unable to respond. "Miriam, wake up. You have hickeys all over your neck and cheeks. Who would want you when you are that day?" I turned and walked away, never looking back. Later, I heard that Miriam and Joey had Miriam screamed at him. "If you had not come running after me that day, trying to mark your territory in front of me, you would have given me another chance." Joey stared at her in shock. "Miriam, you told me yourself that you do not love him. He is just paying for your school. What is your problem?" Miriam snapped. "So what if I do not love him? My sister should not have taken him from me." She stamped her foot, furious. "It is the same face. Why is he so nice to her? I just do not get it." Their fight was truly ugly, and the whole story quietly spread across campus. But that was all after the fact. When I heard about it, I just said, "Oh, not even bothering talking." Chloe, who was gossiping, leaned in. Edward, does hearing this make you feel any better? I shook my head. It does not matter. I moved on. Chloe's eyes lit up, but before she could speak, a girl in perfect makeup and designer clothes walked up in high heels, her voice sweet and soft. Edward, are you done? I missed you. Chloe froze, her face falling as she glared at the newcomer. The girl gave her a careless glance. Who is this? She looks angry. I stood up and pinched the girl's cheek. Do not say things like that. My new girlfriend had a very simple side. As long as I bought her nice clothes and the newest bags, she was sweet, obedient, and eager to please. I like that simplicity. No drama, no second guessing, no fake smiles hiding real disgust. Everything was clear and transactional. Perfect. I nodded to Chloe. Chloe, I have to go. I have things to do. I already knew there was no reason to see her again. The story ends here. There are no winners. The older sister thought she was in control, but her jealousy revealed her worst side. The younger sister thought she was just helping, but her greed made her lose her real compass. And the sugar daddy, who was so calculating from the beginning, ended up choosing a simple transaction because he no longer believed in honesty and could not be bothered to trust. You see, in this game, everyone was just acting devoted, acting innocent, acting indifferent, acting like they were just helping. But by the end, they could not even tell if they had been fooled by someone else or if they had been fooling themselves. We always think that if we are clever enough, we can win at love. But love is not a game. The moment you start keeping score, counting who gives more, who falls first, who needs who more you have already lost, not to the other person, but to the part of yourself that is too scared to be real. None of them was ever truly happy. The older sister was trapped by her pride. The younger sister was trapped by her need to please. He was trapped in his own cynical cleverness. They each thought they won some battles, but none of them won a real connection. So think about this. If you had to pretend to be someone else to keep a relationship alive, then it was never real. If you catch yourself acting, ask yourself one thing. Were you so afraid of losing someone or facing the person you really are? Real intimacy is not a game of moves and counters. It is that night when you do not have to think about what to say or what to do. You can just quietly say the simplest thing. I am here, so I hope you never have to be two different people to get by. I hope you never have to look for safety in lies. I hope you find someone who makes you feel like being yourself is more than enough. And I hope you can be that person for someone else too.